right, time for our second map, Nicholas Pickles. It's Achilizato's choice of Cafe. And boy, oh boy, do they not have much room for error. If they fall on this map, that is their run through the LCQ. Thrown in the bin. Evo Keat Stars prevail 2-0, and they move forward. They play the winner of Los and Team Liquid tomorrow. Well, actually, in 2 days. 1 day and 22 hours from this exact moment. Just in case you follow Liquipedia. I don't know if you follow Liquipedia, but
big Liquipedia fan over here.
Big. I stand, dude. We stand Liquipedia in this house.
Oh, we do. It's how I know when to be on time, where to be, what I'm casting, what I'm doing, and all the players, especially when you come into a tournament like this where you have some teams and players you might not have seen before. Liquipedia is the place to figure out where they came from. Look at the qualifier bracket, what teams they played on previously, what kind of role they have. Sometimes you're lucky and there's a ton of info, and sometimes they quite literally just like a completely new player and there's zero info. Bit of a mixed bag with this one. Some players are known, some are less unknown.
Operator bands locked in, and we are ready to go. 7 rounds could be separating Vivo Keat Stars from advancing into the semifinals of the LCQ. What is on the line in the last chance qualifiers for those that don't know? Well, a spot at the major. No losers bracket.
Ooh.
Or lower bracket if you don't want to call them losers. No second chances. This is it. No dress rehearsal. Okay. This is our life. If Vivo Keat Stars prevail here, they go to the semis. They play either Los or Team Liquid. If they prevail there, then they go to the grand final. They win the grand final. They go to Atlanta. Looking at the teams that are currently in the LCQ, you've got 6 pro teams and 2 amateur teams. One of those is Achilizato competing at the exact moment against Vivo Keat Stars. Now they get to start Cafe on attack. Expectations set for me. We're on Cafe. Operator bans, relatively standard. Thatcher, Mira, really the only 2 things that are kind of weird because the ban rates are kind of lower. Other than that, what's the win condition for these first 6 rounds for Achilizato?
For the attacking side, I think given what we saw in Skyscraper, we need to see the operator lineup be a little bit more efficient for Actualizado. Not bring in Nate for 2 rounds in Skyscraper, not really opting for the meta lineup that we tend to see in Tier 1 play on the first round of Cafe. We see so many teams, especially in Brazil, play the combination of Grim and Capital to clear the top 4 portions of the map, especially on the top 4 bomb side. We don't see that here. We see again like Nearest playing Nomad. Okay. Bullet playing Iana. Some things seem to just take more time to really gel with this team, with operators, and I don't blame them. They haven't had much time to theorize and play around these patch that came out, all of a sudden Iana loses the grenades. But it seemed to be a big problem, at least on the first map. So I want to see that change. Of course, in the attack, confidence. You lose the first map at best of 3, you're an up-and-coming team, you came through the LCQ Open qualifiers, you lose the first map best of 3 series, don't fall behind, don't stop playing scared, and you don't want to take chances and risk and whatnot. The good thing about Cafe is that it's quite similar to Skyscraper in the same fundamentals of the map. So now that they got comfortable, they got some practice rounds in, if you want to call it that, and this is their map pick of Cafe, they gotta show up.
First step is confronting this beachhead, if you want to call it. We see inside a piano. There goes one castle barricade. Hornetow picked off by Swag. He was prepped and ready with a nitrocell in hand, but was unable to fire back. Daffodil hoping for the vault out, but Nears has an idea over towards White Stairs, watching it very intently. If Daffodil goes for this, he will almost certainly die. Down goes Gomez. So far, Achilizado, excellent. Getting first 2 picks, only killing 90 seconds of the clock. So the fact that you're able to do so much damage from above, still have plenty of time to pivot towards the bomb site. That is embarrassing by Daffodil, and Bullet makes him pay. Hates the only one standing between a flawless round and Achilizado. His retake comes towards Red Stairs, now over towards Cocktail. Softened up as Burst is getting the diffuser down, and it's a flawless start to their map for Achilizado.
Couldn't start any better. Yeah, confidence was there, they took the fights, got the picks, and more importantly, they didn't lose that man advantage once they actually gained it. And it almost looked like Vivo Keat Stars that they were lost. I mean, they died from just getting caught off guard on angles, not being able to rotate back towards the bomb side. And that's one thing about the Asami being banned away here, is that what could be a very strong hold of piano with those keeper bears denying lines of sight becomes a bit of a no man's land. If you enter piano as a defender, the attackers go in the window repel, you don't really have any way out. If you're gonna stay in that corner, are you gonna die to a grenade, utility, or eventually you'll try and go for a cheeky swing or C4 like we saw, then Swag is there on the repel to get that free kill. Bombsite rotation, very uncommon here from Evo Stars. They start top floor, and it goes straight downstairs to kitchen. They're not playing reading, which typically is the most played, most successful bomb site across most regions, historically at least. Top floor, of course, is one of those, like, okay, it's a great bomb site, but reading just gives you the site below, plus you can extend up the top floor and use more of the map. Same with mining and dining. Not every team plays it, but same philosophy. Got a lot of map to work with. Kitchen doesn't give you much. Top floor doesn't give you as much. So, a little bit of an odd one out, though. Atualizado doing a much better job with their operator lineup, though, already in round number 2. Both the Capital, the Flores, and the Monty here are excellent for a bakery straight attack, great for a back attack as well, great for the roam clear. They can attack in any of the 3 meta ways for this kitchen and kitchen bomb side. They just gotta pick which one. And right now, just Swag getting good value, clearing out those deployable shields, so that when they reach the bomb side, all that job will already be done for them. They're buying time right now, early in the round, to save it for later. When you got the Monty on Nears, you can just walk in whenever you feel like you are ready and start getting the breach opened up. It's a great pace right now for Atualizado.
It's a totally different look than what we saw on Skyscraper, where they were relatively impotent on their attacks. Now, showing some great strength. Yeah, that bakery wall has been opened up with ease. Bursa will watch it as the Monty continues to move forward through prep with bullet over the shoulder, but oh my, Nears does not look up, just straight ahead. And if you're going to do a linear take, as Atualizado does, you need to ensure that you do it quickly enough, because you are falling by the wayside. 3 dominoes down for Atualizado. Vivo Keedstars up in a 5v2. So you had the tools. You had the idea. You put no emphasis whatsoever on that second floor, and it has picked you apart. Only Bursa and Swag remaining.
That's a tough one. I mean, if you had Capital alive, you can smoke off the ceiling and walk on in, but now you're fighting super many crossfires, red stairs, verticality, and the defenders are winning this bomb set from the floor above.
Oh my, Swag walks up red stairs. I don't know what Hates was thinking there, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. Hornetow finishes it off. This was a very linear take, but I mean, teams seem to live and die off of that second floor, and in the case of Atualizado, they died.
The thing is, I didn't hate the attack. I from a glance, it looked pretty good. I was expecting, I'll play it out in my head. I was expecting the Monty to have smokes, and the Capital, of course, well with the bow. You smoke off the vert holes with Capital. You smoke off those long line of sight from the red wall that was opened up. You can walk in with Monty, playing with the shield behind your back. Nobody can see for you. Maybe you can kill through the smoke. That's unfortunate. But, probably not going to happen. Instead, Monty walks in. There's no smokes being used. Wall is opened up. You just kind of die from what looked like Nears not checking the ceiling despite playing Monty and just dying for practically nothing. And then everyone followed you. And one of the kind of traps you might walk into when you play the Monty is that you might oversimplify because of how free, how easy something appears to, to look at a first glance. For Nears, you're like, yeah, I got a big shield, I'll walk in, okay, I'm dead. And then all the teammates are like, well, what now? Right? Like, we can't do that. You couldn't even do it. What do we do next? And that usually is the issue. Monty is a very linear operator where you have a very clear win condition. Monty goes in diffuser, or Monty, roam clears. If Monty actually ends up dying, you have invested so much of your round structure and your pre-planning, and it's just gone. Where when you play a more, let's say, standard round of Siege, like you likely see this here with double lineup, you can lose the Twitch, round continues on. Lose the Finger, round continues on. The only really big losses here is gonna be losing your Heart Breacher of Ace on Nears early in the round before opening up any walls. That's gonna suck, of course. And then losing your only soft destroyer for vertical play of Sledge, that's gonna do so much damage to you because you can't actually break the floor once you roam clear. But any other loss of operators, nothing really changes. And that's what the Monty's just like, Monty dies, that's it. Round's basically over. So, a more stable lineup here. But again, I didn't dislike what they were doing last round from Atualizado. It looked like a competent round. It just really didn't play out that way.
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it, right? You can bring all the tools you want, you can bring all the right things, but if you don't employ them correctly, or more importantly, if you don't drone out the site above, then you're going to be in trouble. I was gonna point out that I have not necessarily seen Capitao used tremendously well on that kitchen bomb site for a lot of this region. I mean, I know they like the operator. I know that you can gain a lot of value from the operator, but it's just time and time again, it doesn't seem like, oh my, doesn't seem like it really pays off. Swag and Near's getting on the board first. Gomez and Lenda die. 90 seconds to go, and actually Zato gets those first 2 picks, but Hates fires back. Down goes Swag. No more adrenal surges to be found, as the last one will wear off in just a moment. Bullet, not too far removed from the bomb site, walks right into the waiting arms of Daffodil, and it's a relatively easy kill to equalize the numbers with a minute left.
This only works with Vivo Stars because Daffodil is such a quote-unquote passive anchor player. I mean, sure, he swung out twice here, but he's just saying, okay, I need to stay alive, hold on to this one area of train mining, and my teammates from above can deny most of the bomb site, vertically speaking. So now Daffodil, he'll sit tight and hope for his teammates and trust in them to do the job that's needed.
They're going really, really well for Vivo Stars at this point. Now it's Florio to die from Hates in the same position. 3 kills to his name. Near's walking ever closer. But he's distracted by the hatch breaking. Daffodil with 1 kill earlier in the round will get on the board yet again. Vivo Stars now taking the lead. 2-1.
It's one of those times where I really wish I could be in the voice or the team speak, the Discord, like the voice comms of that team of Vivo Stars, because was the hatch opened up so Daffodil could swing off the distraction? Or was it just a complete coincidence, right? We don't know from watching or observing. If you're like an optimist, you go, they planned that. Daffodil said, open the hatch on 3, 2, 1, I'll swing. And then if you're a pessimist, you go, nah, that's just luck, good timing, whatever. Vivo Stars are lucky. Because it looked wonderful just to observe, right? You think, Daffodil's gonna swung. Ace has the read on him. Hatch gets opened. You see Ace flick towards the hatch the same moment Daffodil on the mute swings out as well. It looked beautiful. But yeah, again, Actualizado, they get the opening picks. They get good map control. They look phenomenal in the beginning of the round. And then Swag dies, and then it kind of falls apart. But the weird thing is, if Swag is your IGL, which to my knowledge he is, when an in-game leader dies, your captain, the voice in the team, you tend to say that the value of the leader goes up because now you get, pressure, you're not alive, you don't worry about like the bullet count, your aim and decision making. You can neutrally observe either the 4 player perspectives as well as the various drones and intel you have on the battlefield. And when a team from North America like Dark Zero they play, Troy says, I play roam so that when I die early, I can lead my team better because I don't have to play the game myself. When Swag seems to fall apart, well, so does Actualizado's entry capabilities after, where they look so formidable, aggressive, quick to the punch, found the kills. 5 versus 3, Swag dies, all of a sudden they're sitting still, holding angles, they get swamped by Hates from one position 3 times in a row, they lose the round. It's puzzling, because this shouldn't be happening, but it seems to be repeating itself both in map number 1 and now also map number 2 of Cafe.
There's a lot of effort that was put into getting Lenda out of this position on Cocktail, or nades went in. The Finca of Swag swung through the window. Actually, Zato going with the meta picks at this point. I still don't know how I feel about Grim on most of this map, especially with Gridlock getting nades now as well. Like, I mean, would it not make sense to bring a Gridlock? She's quite strong on Cafe in the right hands, and this is one of the few maps where we do actually tend to see a relatively higher Gridlock pick. I understand why you bring the Grim. I understand the isolation. I understand that it's area denial. I understand that it can also function as information if desperately needed, but I don't know, maybe there's more optimal takes here. Lenda knows something that we don't, by the way. Oh my god, how do you even deal with that at that point? Nades tossed in by Swag do not work. Lenda still in this spot. Now down goes Florio. Oh my goodness. Just like Hates inside a freezer, Lenda not too far off of that same spot. Nears goes down to Gomez. Swag will swing right in. Lenda tucked into the corner. Down goes Gomez. Does he know this? He might not have heard Swag go in. Now it's going to be another repel by Bullet. Lenda posted up to greet Swag, who's the last member of Actualizado, and he's just dead. Hornetau swings on him in relatively slow fashion. 3 in a row by Vivo Stars, and I would not be shocked if we saw a timeout by Actualizado.
But you brought it up, and I think you're completely right. Why not bring the gridlock? Why not get the nades? The burn for the ADS and the Mightis, etc. And more importantly, why not bring the Capital? When this game, the very first round started, you spoke about expectations and what Actualizado should do, etc. And I was like, I would love to see them play the meta like the Capital Grim top floor takes, where do exactly what we just saw. Cocktail repel, new balcony repel, the Grim goes in, the B spot the defender, and then the Capital Fire follows through, or a bunch of grenades. They're playing one set of grenades, no Capital, and no gridlock for ADS clear. And it's like, okay, how do you realistically expect to successfully clear this take unless the enemy somehow walks into your bullets? That's the issue right now. And this is again a case of not being used to like this level of play, perhaps, where the the opponent rather, they're not going to make massive blunders and massive mistakes. Vivo Kid Stars, they understand that if you don't force them out of the corner, they're not going to leave the corner. And more importantly, the player who's in the corner has crossfires established from other people, so that when you go for the swing on attack, you can have two people looking at you with their guns up, ready for it. And it's why we see when Actualizado actually go for a gunfight, it comes down to them just outright losing because they're fighting multiple enemies at the same time. Timeout was called. You are absolutely correct in that part with the prediction, but will it matter? It didn't do all that much back in Mental on a Skyscraper. They lost the following round. Sure, they won some afterwards, but it was a pretty quick one. A 7-3 win for Vivo Kid Stars. You take it now after round number 4. You're down 1-3. It's a great time to do so because if things do work out, you get a 3-3 half. Maybe you get a 2-4 half. Not the end of the world again. And you go on defense. Things are looking up. But this round right here, a second attempt of a Monty round for kitchen attack, that has to be where improvement is going to have to show us that they have learned from the past, they have learned from the mistakes, and right off the rip, it's Bursa on Monty this time and not Nears. So perhaps that small change will be enough.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. I like the gridlock pick. I don't know if I agree with Bursa on Monty because it's from the sight test on Skyscraper. It was Florio and Bursa that I found to be their two most effective players. Not that you can't be ineffective on a Monty, or not that you can't be effective on the Monty as well. But I mean, if you're a good hand with a good gun, I always question why you'd put that player on Monty. It was like when Astro on FaZe was so good, they would throw him on Monty when he was in the middle of a heater. And we kind of scratch our heads and go, I understand that that's what you think the strategy is for, but maybe keep the guy who's killing everybody in the server off of the shield operator for maybe a bit longer.
That's a completely fair point, and I fully agree with it. Bursa, of course, for this specific map, hasn't done all that much. Bullet, though, will start things off hot. That's a great roam clear example right there. Drone goes out, spots the defender, he's forced to make a move, and the good thing is, there's a catch. If Bullet was inside a library, wasn't holding the white staircase, Daffodil runs back to the basement, or runs back up, and will go, not unseen, but he'll stay alive for longer and cause issues. We saw Swag on the red stairs, Bullet white stairs, no matter what, they have an answer for it. And this is the start that they want an attack. They get the pick, they get the room clear, 1 minute 30 seconds, the hammer starts swinging the floor below, leading towards the bomb side. And then you get, okay, what next? Well, you got Gridlock, and you got Monty for the plant as well. So all of a sudden, Actualizado going for the more difficult roam clear, the full clear if you will, and they have an answer for every stage. They have an answer for the roam clear. That's going to be the Monty and Bullet going in, and Swag going in. Then you got the setup, right? Bullet's on IQ. He can find the Valkyrie cameras, find the utility. And then for the third stage, in about 30 seconds from now, that's going to be the plant. That's where Monty and Gridlock comes in. So they got all three things covered from the attack inside here. It's beautiful.
Florio taking a lot of damage in order to accomplish that, as Affidel was the lone player to fall earlier. But I mean, it's a Fenrir. It's not the end of the world. Red Mines will continue. Linear take that we were a bit critical of Actualizado for, centered around presence inside a bakery. It's been surrendered at this point as Vivo Kid Stars holds that position. Instead, it's a freezer take. Gomez is waiting for information, waiting for the drop. He had a nade in hand. There's smoke doing some serious damage, and Gomez jumps up, but he's missing out on the plot. This is a rough spot for him to be in. Bursa taking some damage with diffuser in hand as well. Bullet far enough back to try and piggyback on him as Gomez sees the Monty. Does not survey the damage that's been done to the back freezer wall. Smoke canisters from the attackers. Keeping line of sight off. Hates in! Gets the diffuser at the last second. And the time goes in favor of Vivo Keydstars. The timeout not paying off for Achilizado. 4-1 this first half so far.
It was looking so good as well for the attack, and what happens? Well, all of a sudden, small oversight. Yeah, the sledge is alive, broke the floor apart, but nobody was like watching down the hose, it looked like. Defenders are moving around constantly, both near the chassis. I mean, Gomez look at this, swings to freezer twice, almost gets a second kill as well, and then Hades pushes through the bomb site despite Sledge still being right above those holes. The communication seems to be a big issue here for Actualizado, especially, of course, on the attacking side where things just are more hectic. There are more things to be aware of and keep track of. And if you think back to the very first round, it was a flawless round by the attack. And I was like, okay, Actualizado's map, they got this one. Easy peasy, right? They made Vivo Keydstars look lost. And ever since that flawless happened, it has just not been the same performance from either team. The one who flawless, the enemy, well, they look a bit lost now. And the team that got flawless, they look like they are like, okay, these guys are the real deal. We're gonna show up even more. Yeah, bomb site rotation was a bit questionable from Vivo Keydstars. It still is. They went top kitchen reading, top kitchen, probably reading again. But they've made it work, and they've corrected their mistakes, and more importantly, they're punishing the attack inside every single time. This was a round that we just witnessed where defenders, they lose an early member, they lose Daffodil, they lose the Roamer really quickly. And it should be the round where attackers, they get it, but they don't. So I fear. I do fear at this point. You lose the first map, this is how the second map is gonna go. Actualizado, they really gotta cut out for them. They gotta really push you to the limit here.
We knew what they were up against when they came into this matchup, but I mean, any team that plays at an amateur level that comes in and competes against pro teams is very aware of exactly the stakes that are in front of you. It is not unheard of, though it is incredibly unlikely that a non-pro team will ultimately win, you know, the last chance qualifiers, or, you know, before that it was what was the term that we referred to them as before LCQ was adopted? My brain is not functioning.
I'm at a blank as well, actually.
It's I can see it, I can feel it, I can grab for it. I can physically see it. It's inside of my head, you know.
Gotta draw it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we always get these Cinderella runs from teams, right? You look at Brazil, 6 pro teams make it. You got 2 more spots available. That's when the tier 2 teams kind of step up. It's great experience. We pointed it out back on Skyscraper as well, Nick, is that even if the team isn't necessarily going to make it super far, individual players might do so. Florio's been the standout on this team so far, but honestly, nobody from Achilizado has looked particularly sharp on Cafe so far. Curious if they'll stick with this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you got one more attack left, then you got your defenses, but the good old story of, well, you might be a great defending team, but if you go 1-5 down, it's really, really hard to actually find the victory because you're just not allowed any mistakes, really. Guys, of course, right now, going to be focusing on the attacking lineup, see what they do with the attacker re-pick phase. Because right now, you know, they're going to pick their starting lineup, they're going to see the bomb side, the defending operators, and what the side step is going to be. They're going to discuss, of course, what the approach will be when the round starts. And seeing stuff like Bursa go from Thermite onto the Ram, and then cap it down to Sledge, immediately right now you go, okay, they're going to go for a top roam clear, take top floor control, destroy the floor, and go for a reading plan. Like, that is like 90% of the time what's going to happen here, just solely based off the response that we saw in the attacker repick phase. Of course, things can change. They can also just take these operators and go for a different play. They might see an opening for a rush, etc. But that seems to be the action, and also would be the meta. That is typically what teams tend to do. The issue is attacking top floor this time without the IQ on Bullet, as he's playing Iana this round, might become difficult. There are 2 C4s on the defensive side, and an impact in the pocket of Gomez and Goyo as well. And when you're dealing with those Valkyrie cameras in piano, on the main bar up top floor, all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, I'm safe right here, and the C4 goes out and you're dead. And if there's 2 of them, that could easily net you 1 or 2 kills in this round if you're not careful.
The last kick of the can for Atelizato on attack. So far, the defenders have looked pretty good, but that's all just been Vivo Keystars up to this point. Hard to extrapolate, you know, these 5 rounds and see if it will hold when Atelizato switches sides. I have no doubt that because this is their map, they will look certainly better on defense. Will that be enough to stem the tides? I'm not certain of that one. The longer that Bullet sits here, the worse it is for his team as he's looking at the delivery door. We're going on to repel now. Swag has taken up space inside a piano and assesses that there's nobody up there. The silhouettes from Vivo Keystars farther back. Look at this. They may not be there, but About Cam is.
Oh.
Perfectly timed Nitro Cell. As down goes Florio. Now Swag to fight back, pulls out a nade, banking it off of the wall. No damage done to Vivo Keystars. There's an Adreno Surge and another nade as Swag asserts himself. Hornetow with a relatively low rate of fire, but it doesn't matter how many bullets you can spit out if you hit him in the head. Now it's Hornetow under fire from the window, watching over towards Evan. Ooh, Nears is in. No damage is done to him. Down goes Nears. They're struggling to get in the building. Bullet still on the same repel spot, same side of the building he was on a minute ago. With the exception of Piano, Atelizato have not established any map control. They lose Bursa, and now it's Bullet. We saw him by that delivery door. A 5-1 first half for Vivo Keystars looking like a possibility. Not a reality just yet as Bullet picks off Daffodil, depriving Vivo Keystars the flawless round, and now Bullet will go through that delivery area. He's very far removed from the bomb site, does not have the bomb case either, and down he goes to Gomez. Vivo Keystars somehow do better on the first half of their opponent's map than they did on the first half of their own map. They are now 2 rounds away from putting this series into the history books.
And again, it comes down to you got the right tools, you got the right read. If you can't actually utilize them correctly and get into that correct position, the spot that you need to be in, you're not going to find success in these rounds. And okay, sledge down to a C4 below, that's a problem. But that's also why Atelizato brought out the second soft destroyer. They got the ram. So even if ram dies, or even if sledge dies, the other one can still get the job done if, and that's the issue, the if you can get to the area above the site, this cocktail long desk bar portion of the map that we see right now, top down view. Because if you can't get there, if you can't get inside the building, it doesn't matter what operators you play or what soft destruction you have or where the bomb site is because you can't work around it. And a big concern for me in that round is Bullet spent the entire round outside the garage, window and door, and he spent the first half of the round literally just like outside holding a door prone. In the last half of the round, on the window repel in the white hallway, not really helping his team. And that's your Iana player. That's your typical entry in these days, right? You get the flashbangs, the Gemini clone. You can't use the clone when repelling. You couldn't use his flashbangs to stop his team either, really. So they sent in Swag on the finger alone. No trade, no nothing. He dies, and then the entire push is stopped. A lack of team play on the side of Atelizato. We're going to see Vivo Keystars can change things up. They certainly have in terms of operators. They're playing Kali. Daffodil here on Cafe. We don't see this almost ever, but Kali's lances can destroy the castle barricades, deployable shield, any possible mute jammers, or runic gates. It's great burn and great drone bait as well from Hate and his teammate. That's gonna get them the injury that they desperately need because all of a sudden they get cigar control. Next up is piano control, and it just increases the pace of the round now for the attack inside.
Gotta love the confidence of that IQ play. Nothing is slowing Hates down. Hornetow was talked about quite a lot at the start of this stage of the Brazilian League, but Hates has been the most impressive player to me for Vivo Keystars. He's still getting droned in. Oh my! Doesn't see Bullet down below though. He sent all the drones onto the proper floor, but again, if you're not looking down, you're gonna be in trouble.
It's tough luck. I mean, yeah, you go in too deep sometimes, you get caught. Good C4 pass with follow-up as well from Bullet. No cam, really, but the eyesight test from his teammate inside of Bounce who might give the call on it, but yep, there it is. Well, my sees him, that Swag, he makes his Bullet pop the C4 right now, and he does just that. That's the thing, when Hate dies on IQ early, you don't get to find this P-play C4s, you don't get to find those Mossy drones if you catch any. So IQ dying is a bigger deal than any other operator in this round because that C4 nets them with another free kill to get the advantage onto the defending side team.
Grenade that goes down. Daffodil falls. Vivo Keydstars losing all of their players. They are so close to being able to put this match away. This round in particular is all up to Lenda in a 1v4 who's already got some information that F90 is a tremendously good gun, and Lenda is not a bad player to have in this circumstance. Low enough HP where probably won't die from the laser gates, but it'll be an almost mortal blow. Not unlike a bull kicking at the dirt, waiting to charge. A couple bullets from Lenda will go in. He has one drone, it looks like, in pocket. He might be able to throw this before weaving his way through the opening. No information. He can get swung on. My bathroom. Oh my. Continue walking in. He's so close. You know exactly where he is. Continue to just go forward, but there it is. Bullet with the final kill. Running out of time, a good way to kill 40 seconds, and not an unwinnable situation for Lenda, but there was information to be had by Achilizado. They use it to their advantage, and they win the round to keep the numbers as close as possible, though it is only the second round for Achilizado on their own map.
Yeah, Vivo Keystars can make some mistakes and have some troubling rounds and still be A-okay. And one of the great things about Cafe and the attack right now, more than ever, I think, is that there are many different ways to attack, whether it's the Monty, the Blitz, the Capital, the Grim, the Gridlock. I feel like if you go back like a year and a half, 2 years on Cafe, you always saw the same kind of basic lineup where you see like a single hop breacher, you know, 4 grenades or two sets, some flashbangs, and that's it. Occasionally, before the Ying ban started happening very frequently, we saw some Ying plays, like you Ying down the sky, like go for a hot drop, take fast map control, etc. Those chaotic executes. But nowadays, Ying is banned on like every single map of Cafe ever, so that's kind of gone away. But the attack is very flexible. We've seen Actualizado attack in one way, we've already now seen Vivo Keyd attack in a different way, Khalid the first round, Glass in the second round, hey, it's okay. So, speaking of chaotic rounds, this might be one of them. And of course, whenever a Glass is picked, we have to do the eye test and say, okay, is Glass gonna bring out the frag grenades or the smoke grenades? Because yes, Glass does have the option of either or. Sometimes we do see a Glass with grenades because you can get that soft destruction, then you maybe your Thermite or your Gridlock. Back then, before Gridlock had nades, would be in the smokes for the Glass instead. Now, of course, you get a bit of more flexible lineup with both Think and Gridlock getting those nades. You can now flex it around just a tiny bit more.
It really does speak to the fact that the friendlier map for the defenders at this point. Near's inside a coat check. Zog in hand. There goes a nade, and missed. Well timed though. Drone goes in, EE1D goes in. Gomez taking down Bullet. Nears could have died too. Hornetow will attempt a second time. Swag finished off by the Glass. All this action coming to a head. Nears walks away with 1 HP. Will survey the destruction by the door as Florio backs him up not too far removed. Out of VIP. Lenda upside down trying to do some damage. Down goes Lenda to Nears. Nears with only a single point of HP. The sloppiness for Vivo Keydstars to flush that one player out has now cost 2 their lives. Gomez will have to rotate around to assist as the stack up is coming through the bakery wall into kitchen. A 3v3 with half the round to go. It's what we see right now.
Marissa could win this round for his team here. He's in such a good position, close by the breach, but the issue is there's no intel for the attack inside. They have no clue as to where the players are. Only 2 drones left. Now Toxic Babes go out. It's stalled. Rush is dead. Vivo Keystars might have to play this round slow for the last minute of this round.
Very, very curious to see what Hates can do on this Glass. Already got a pick earlier in the round. Nears has favored this same spot, not too far from the Glass, sitting at the bottom of red stairs. Nears holding by the window inside a coat check. Love the respect from Achilizado here. Down goes Gomez. This is looking mighty good for Achilizado at this point. Yogg making some noise. There's the Glass losing his momentum. Now doing some damage to Florio. Daffodil inside the site. Down goes Florio. Daffodil doesn't see by Freezer, and Nears gets 3 kills from the same spot with a single point of HP. Just goes to show that being wounded but still upright is more than enough. That's 2 rounds in a row for Actualizado, and it'll be a timeout from Vivo Keydstars.
Vivo Keydstars is not really paying their respect, I think, right now. They're taking those individual 1v1 gunfights, swinging with grenades in their hands, and if Nears either got traded or died to the grenade that happens at that small closet, all of a sudden that round plays out entirely different. The fact that Nears survives with 1 HP is the reason why Actualizado won the round at least the way that they did. He was holding on to a crucial position. He was that middle piece of the crossfire, and he never overswung. He recognized that I'm going to make myself and my presence known in this position, shoot a couple bullets, peel off, let my teammates play around it actively. And when they have the attention, that's when I swing again. The fact that he never died just shows how well he played that position. And I gotta say, Hate's such an quote-unquote unlucky player in that round on the glass. Whenever he was holding an angle, there was just enemies just about to swing. And then the moment Hades would get like impatient or, give up on holding an ankle for any longer, that's when they would swing him. So he just got a little bit of bad time in there. Glass was primed and ready for an easy 3K, but defenders, of course, played their positions much better, knowing not to overswing in those scenarios. And now it's really solid, start building that quote-unquote mental momentum, where they're feeling better, things are going their way, they're obviously much more comfortable on defense, and that's the expected outcome when you're playing Cathay. It is the quote-unquote easier side to deal with. You set up your utility, your reinforcements, and let the attackers do all the work. Before we can see what the side setup is actually going to look like for this round of the reading defense, we're going to go into a quick technical rehost again.
Well, we don't really have a lot of information as to why this keeps happening. I'm curious though, because they always seem to coincide with timeouts. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's like a timeout that gets called, and then the next round goes to a rehost, and we don't have a lot of information, but this is the 3rd or 4th that we've had so far. This region, it seems for whatever reason, Brazil seems to be snake bitten when it comes to tech issues.
I mean, we always talk about LAN and how the players they play it and it's great, etc. But I do think, at least I can't help but think, and when you play on LAN, there probably is a higher chance of tech issues. There are much more things that are linked together, synced up, wired in, much more things can go wrong, many different players in the same PCs every single week. Whereas if you're at home, you just kind of slap in virtually on the same good old PC with the same old settings, nobody fiddles on anything. Could be a case of the LAN flu, if you will, for the technical side of things. But, I don't know. I'm no tech wizard. I just know that this is a LAN region. NAE are not LAN regions. From the eye test, at least, they have less tech issues. But it's always a gamble, You can have a perfect LAN with zero issues. You can have a perfect online with zero issues. And then you can flip it and say, okay, now you have a super tech-ridden online season or LAN season. It just is what it is. With the game, the players, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, we're waiting with bated breath as to what unfolds next. I'm glad that you said that Vivo Keydstars aren't giving them, the respect that they deserve. I feel like on Skyscraper, Vivo Keydstars were, right? I mean, obviously it's hard to tell because Actualizado did not look like the strongest team on Skyscraper. I would argue that I think they've looked like a significantly better team through this second half, and even though it's only 2 rounds, than they did at any point during Skyscraper. Obviously, it's their map. They're on the quote-unquote better side. That should mean more success for Actualizado. But if Vivo Keydstars are going to play a bit too hasty and not particularly practiced, they're going to be punished for it. I mean, look at how much they struggled to flush Nears out of that position inside of Kochek. That's not a hard player to get rid of. You have all the tools at your disposal. You've got 2 nades, you've got E1Ds, you've got drones. They still had drones left. You leave the Finka to do it by themselves, toss in both those nades, you're going to come away with that. You're going to come away with a very valuable part of the map as well. You can continue to hold on to that part. It gives you some presence over top of whiskey, double door leading into kitchen, bottom of red. There can't, if you're going to stick somebody up there, you can't rotate through bakery either without walking through a line of sight. Instead, not only does Nears survive, but also picks off 3 players in the same spot because your initial gambit fails. And then you do almost no work whatsoever from that point onward to actually isolate him and pick him off. Instead, you decide, let's just go for the site push. You can't exactly take the site when walls are shot open and you haven't gained map control where Nears is playing. This might be fast and furious. Right. That was that round. This is this round. No hard breachers being brought by Vivo Keydstars, which is not unusual, but Finka, Lion, Capitao, Dokubi. These are 4 operators that lead me to believe this one could be quite quick. They're going to go for picks, get an early pick or 2, use your gadgetry after the plant gets down. It'll be all up to Lenda to shepherd in that diffuser.
I agree with you. It's about playing for kills here and just play it aggressively. And that's what these operators can do. They strengthen your own team and weaken their opponents. Like the Lion Scan Dokubi makes the enemy weaker. The Finka boost, of course, makes your team stronger. If they can get top 4 control, get the verticality done to the bomb site with that sledgehammer from Daffodil going out. But the issue is probably going to be Nears on the Vigil. Hard to find him and catch him. See how we keep getting in the building though. Repelling on in, smoke goes out. Can they get the entry though?
Well, first one to get onto the score sheet is Hates. Nears dies. Hates picks up a second. This is a spot that Hates was in before as he picks up his 3rd on to Nears. That was the IQ in that spot before. Drone gets tossed out. Bursa responds with a nitro cell. Gomez not off it fast enough. He dies. A 3v2 favoring Vivo Keydstars after the break. Maybe they got some time to talk things through. Lenda upstairs while 2 other players on the team do their work. No EE1Ds remaining. Sledge with a grenade, 3 flashbangs from Hates. Lenda still has some utility in that crossbow of his. Has Florio been discovered upstairs? Because that might be the big question mark here. Florio on flank, not too far removed from where the execute is happening. All 3 players of Vivo Keydstars above. There goes Bursa. Now the flank is the only saving grace. Florio starts with a single kill and finds a second on the Daffodil. Oh my. Vivo Keydstars could botch this yet still. Lenda in a 1v1 against Florio as the diffuser goes down and Florio has information. They know exactly where he is. And he'll creep up with the bailiff out, but Lenda somehow wins it. Vivo Keydstars go to series point.
The bailiff in the 1v1? I mean, I get the train of thought, right? Close quarter, got the yellow ping, shotgun, they got buffed recently, but I always have to say, like, oh, is it worth it? Is it the right play to make? You got 5 shots to go through, and if you whiff a little bit, it's so hard to readjust the aim. It comes down to Florio once again not getting the win. It's the same thing on map point. On Skyscraper, he's in a 1 versus 3. He gets the first 2 kills, and in the 1v1, he just can't find the beautiful pre-fight here onto Daffodil, securing the 1v1. But that's the most difficult part of a clutch, because all of a sudden, it becomes possible to win. It becomes a reality where, okay, now the pressure is on. In the 1v3, Riders lost, go crazy, no stress. They should get closer and closer. Things they change emotionally. Tough round for Atualizado. It looked okay, but then Hates really showed up with that triple kill in the DMR upstairs. And Florio, he played it well. He was okay, my teammates died around me. Going for a kill right now is not going to work out. I'm going to play the late round flank. Then we saw that mini execute. Sledge opening up the floor. His teammate looking straight down on that broken floor towards the bomb site immediately. And that found the mutant on the bomb site. And that's really what opened things up. When the side player falls, in a 2 versus 3, it forces that roamer who's hiding to make an active play, because otherwise the taggers will just run to the side and start planting. You can't let that happen. Now Atualizado looking to go for a cheeky spawn, he could jump out passively. Still playing active. It's very important to note, because when you're down 3-6, match in series point because you lost the first map, seeing teams play passive is not a good look, so a jump out here, I love to see it. Still life being shown from Nears, and that's gonna be like, we might be down, but we're not out.
I mean, it's not 3 of them this time, all from the same area.
That's true.
As we saw on Skyscraper back in map number 1. This is the precipice now of extinction for Achilles-Otto in the last chance qualifiers. This is quite literally their last chance in the last chance qualifiers. Achilles-Otto will need to win 3 rounds in a row and then 2 of the 3 in overtime if they want to make it to Oregon. 3 rounds so far on their map matches the total on the previous map of Skyscraper. It's hard when you find yourself in this position going up against a tier 1 team. You know how tough it can be, but I love that there's still signs of life as Florio decides to make that altercation his own. Bursa losing some HP just a moment before that as well. No kills to be found from Vivo Keydstars as we hit the halfway point of the round.
And now to Isada, what they should do is stop playing this really in-your-face playstyle. They got the 2 picks they want, they've shot down the push, they got the character and nades off the table. Now just sit in those corners, establish those crossfires, don't give Vivo Keystars any easy 1v1 engagements. If they can show us both sides in this round, that's already big improvement. But look at that! Swag goes to the run back and it looked good, and News made the right play trying to help his teammate get back, but instead pays it with his life.
Swag now down 2.
Oh no, it's not gonna happen again surely. The 5 versus 3 into a 3v3, a classic round for Actualizado.
Hates is gone to Bullet. Hates has been phenomenal throughout all of this stage and now in the LCQs as well. Achilles-Otto with numbers advantage. Hornetau and Gomez side by side. Dokkaebi and Gridlock working together. No nades, no flashes left. They're going to have to go in dry. Gomez already saw the pick, but he's gunned down, and that's relatively easy for Achilles-Otto to get those final 2 picks and stay alive. Round 1 of 3 for them to at least make it to overtime is done. 2 more to go, though, and now you're going to have to play around the bomb site rotation. You just won Cocktail. Kitchen has reopened. Every bomb site except for Cocktail is available. And it looks like Kitchen and Kitchen Prep is where we are going to go. Though there is a pause at the moment.
I love the life they're showing, though, the jump out, the second pick from Castle onto the window or Palace. Okay, if we would let Vivo Keystars execute, they get what they want. So instead, take the fight to them, disrupt them from getting those 5 players posted up and ready. The thing is, it's a high-risk playstyle. If you jump out the window as Nears and the Jaeger and you die, your teammates are going to be feeling kind of bad about that, right? Okay, now you play 4 versus 5, you lose your piano player, things are tough, god damn it. But when it works out, it feels oh so good. And that's always what I talk about when it comes to the 3rd map in a best of 3, match point, etc. Or when you go into overtime, the risk assessment from teams, it can change when you start fearing that, okay, if I make the wrong play, we lose. All of a sudden, your instincts are telling you, hey, go jump out that window, take that high-risk play, get the kill, win the round. But then you second guess yourself, oh, what if it fails? What if I lose the gunfight? What if I choke? What if there's a claymore? What if all the what ifs become an issue for you. You second guess your decision. You either don't make it at all, or you just make it too late. You get punished either way. So seeing Nears prep that window in the prep phase, showing that he intended to jump out from the very beginning, and then full sending when the time came, is a good sign. But you can't necessarily do that 3 rounds in a row to force overtime. It's going to become predictable, readable, and again, it can't just work out every single time.
First half, we talked about the absence of gridlock and what operators were being brought to cut down on flank. Grim, obviously, was the one operator that jumped to mind. Providing you have somebody else with nades. Usually the main set of nades is Yana. She doesn't have access to nades anymore. So where do you go? Sledge has become for a lot of teams and will likely become for a lot of teams main set of nades, or even a Finka. Finka's pick rate was very, very low as of a week ago. Now she is, as of this match, being played at or around 50% of all the rounds. Yana's pick rate fallen off of a cliff. This goes to show you how important grenades are in this meta. Even Glaz, who can bring nades if you don't want to bring the smokes, can be used for that destructive secondary gadget. This is a bit of an oddity. Vivo Keydstars are changing every single one of their operators.
Technically, Hornetau is going from finger, but it meant that he went to something before the finger, of course. So, but yeah,
he was on the gridlock and then picked Finka at the last second, and I think he's sticking with the Finka.
Yeah. But no, you're right. I mean, and they're going for what I would call like a mixed match of operators. Like Monty Finga speaks to like one playstyle, right? The in your face, the fighting, the roam clearing, whatever. Then they go Twitch Brava, which is like, let's drone, let's hack gadgets, let's take it nice and easy. Of course, you can mix them together though. Daffodil or Twitch can clear out the Might Disc or the ADSs or the Bubbles or Maestro. Then you can enable, like right here, that's great, excellent work. You can enable the Monty and Finger to do more work in the round. But it's very important if they want to succeed in this attack that they let Daffodil and Lenda do their work on drones first. Because if you're gonna start playing, attacking Bakery while your teammates are droning, you're playing 2 versus 4 basically in this round, right? Because you're gonna be faced with 4 defenders, there's only 2 guns on attack. So let them do the work, set up, then play together. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna walk in, but Monty is not the main pusher, he's the distraction.
Oh, and Nears is ready for this. If there's any gun that can shoot through multiple adversaries, it's going to be Maestro. But look at that. You fixed your mistakes from last time. Nears cannot do the same to them that they did on Kaid before. Action coming in very quickly now with Daffodil punishing 2 separate players on Atulizado. A 3v2 with the Monty still on the board for Vivo Keydstars. Bullet hunkered down at the bottom of red stairs. Hornetau could potentially get Florio, but looks away. That's some bad siege timing, baby. We've all been there.
And that's Diffuser as well. All of a sudden, the win conditions change for the attackers. They gotta go for kills now, or retake the ground, or maybe it's not. Maybe my eyes deceive me, but I don't see a Diffuser case, at least on any of the players, so I don't think they have it in their control. And it's a minute and 10 left, but it's like a TDM match all of a sudden. They can't play for side.
Oh, they can't at all. Damage being done to Bullet, though. In terms of pure HP, Vivo Keydstars looking good, but they've got work to be done. Daffodil look to have a read on the drone, will creep up. Florio now rotates around over towards the Warden. Daffodil picking him off. Florio will need to save the round. Can't do it. That's lights out on Atchilizado's LCQ run. Vivo Keydstars triumphant 2-0. They'll wait to see who they play next as they make it the first team to the LCQ semifinals in Brazil.
And it's always Florio in those last dying moments, and he always falls short when it's the the 3v1s, the 2v2s. He's always the last alive, and then he dies. There's a decent run.